your mother. It's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just the
Duo.
Feathery brethren, weathering any season to see the Eagles eating teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia. Both and Zach kicking it cooler than
two.
Penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some
Birds with Friends.
The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some
Birds with Friends.
Both and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping.
We are going to rip out the hearts of other podcasts. We are going to bite off their eyeballs. We're going to start every segment watching the scene from The Last of the Mohicans where the guy takes a bite out of the other guy's heart. We may not be good, but we're going to be nasty. We're going to reflect the blue-collar nature of this city. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends, the first post-game pod of the regular season. Wulf, Zach Berman, live here in Ford Field after a ugly, at times sloppy, but a win nonetheless for the Philadelphia Eagles. 38-35, the most points they have scored in a season opener since 2000 when they beat the Dallas Cowboys 41-14. I think if you are an Eagles coach, you know, maybe you're hoping for a week one win that still allows you to get angry and lots of stuff to work on. That's what you got. We're going to talk about Johnny Gans and the defense that was not very good. They did a lot of things, and they did a lot of things poorly in this game. But Jalen Hurts is the guy who leads the team with A.J. Brown. It was really the two of them, and that was about what was going on for the Eagles. Now, I don't want to discount Miles Sanders, but Jalen Hurts goes 18 of 32 for 243 yards, 155 of those 243 yards to A.J. Brown. Hurts also has 17 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown. Sanders had 1396 and a touchdown. But this game, Zach, was interesting. It started off ugly for the Eagles. Then it looked like it was going to be a blowout, and then they had to really barely hold on at the end. I don't know what my question to you is, but I think my question is, do you want to start your defense of Johnny Gans now, or should we get to that later?
No, I can't defend Jonathan Gannon after this game. I don't think the defense played well enough. Two things that I harp on time and time again during our time on Birds with Friends is third down and pressure, right? You need to get to the quarterback with sacks, not just getting in his face, with sacks. They had one total sack today. If I don't have the stats
and that only came on a drop,
exactly.
A botched snap, yeah.
And then what did third downs finish at? It was 9 for 13 at one point. What did they finish at? The numbers are there. I can pull that up. It's unacceptable. And
9 of 14.
Okay, yeah. So 9 of 14. I mean, we can talk about the defense at length. I do think, not to kind of be the like old newspaper reporter here, but I do think the quarterback,
middle-aged at least.
the quarterback's the bigger story in my opinion. I think that there haven't been too many games in recent years where you say they won because of Jalen Hurts, right? And I think you can probably say that today, that Jalen Hurts.
You're stealing my line from my story.
I didn't even, and that tells you I haven't even read your story yet.
Wow, maybe I'm just a hack then.
No,
it's so easy.
No, it shows that you're rubbing off on me. The great minds think alike here, right? I don't want to say that I'm thinking like you. So Jalen, I've been harping on the running thing throughout the preseason because I expected him to be I expected that to be a really big part of the offense, and I heard speculation that he would run less this year, that his kind of evolution as a quarterback, he would need to pass the ball more. And I keep saying, if Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, you lean into what he does well, and he is an elite runner as a quarterback. And you saw that a dynamic part of the offense today was his ability to extend drives.
Them today.
Exactly. And I would also add, he changed the structure of the Lions defense with the way he ran. All of a sudden, they had to account for him differently. So that and A.J. Brown, to me, were the two bigger stories. But big picture here, like long-term, the defense, I expected more from them, and they need to be considerably better.
Yeah, I think we should just, we'll say up front, week one is weird. Mm-hmm. We can't read. It's not always weird things happen in week one, right? So we don't want to overreact. We'll get to the defense. I think there are real reasons to be concerned, but we can't. You don't want to overstate it. The same goes for the offense. But just in terms of this game, as you said, in a season that is like the undercurrent of the whole year is, can the Eagles win with this guy? In this game, they won because of him.
Mhm.
And they started out very sloppy on offense. I think if you are of the opinion that like the starters didn't play enough in the preseason, you could use the first half of this game as support for that, because the stadium was loud, but they were sloppy on offense.
Yes.
5 penalties on
Mhm.
offense in the first half, including 4 of the pre-snap variety, 2 false starts, 12 men in the huddle, and a delay of game. On the offensive line, they did not do a great job picking up blitzes. Jason Kelsey said after the game that they knew that they were going to see unscouted looks because it's week 1,
Sure.
and so they saw the unscouted looks and they got to them. And what saved them was Jalen Hurts' ability to scramble. And to your point, as something in this room gets very loud, I thought it was interesting. First play of the game for the Eagles offense, they call a designed run around the left side for Jalen Hurts. I think that's like a message sending thing from Sirianni and Steichen, to your point that like this is going to be a big part of the offense. But it wasn't the designed runs that were a big factor in this game. Jalen Hurts, so 17 carries for 90 yards. Throw away one of them because it's the quarterback kneel at the end of the game. 8 of those were designed runs, and those went for 28 yards. The other 8 were scrambles, and those went for 64 yards, including 4 first downs, and bailed them out when they did not look good and did not have answers in the beginning of this game. And that's why, like, I think you're right. Like, Jalen Hurts, I mean, we'll get to A.J. Brown, who is a superstar and was as advertised in his first game, and, like, completely changes what they can do on offense.
You're taking my story now.
But Jalen Hurts is the reason they won this game.
Yeah. And, I mean, to your point about the undesigned runs, right? These off-schedule plays, the scrambles. I think that's when you're even more effective in those situations, right? Because you're taking off for a reason. Either there's space there, the defense has their back to you. By definition, those runs are occurring because of conditions on the field that allow you to do so. And Jalen going back to Alabama, but Alabama, Oklahoma.
Going back to Channelview.
Yeah. I never saw him at Channelview, though,
Well,
to be honest.
that makes one of us.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. I've watched all the Channelview tape. I've grinded that down to the bone.
So he's always been like, there are good running quarterbacks. He's a great running quarterback, and his vision, his ability, how smooth he is out there as a runner, as we've discussed, his ability not to take big hits, and something that I see him doing. And I don't know if this is by design or just so happened to be that way. He's very good at getting down at the last possible moment and drawing
But that's the problem is that so I mean the dual, like the dichotomy of a running quarterback is that nothing is more frustrating for the defense than like having a play covered and then it becomes undone by an unplanned scramble. But it also means you're inviting hits. And in this game, Jalen Hurts, who, as you said, has been so good at avoiding hits, that's what makes him, I think, like a really elite running quarterback, because he's not like the most dynamic runner. But in this game, he's doing those late slides, which is sort of inviting the contact as it happens. And that like 4 times in the first half, he's getting hit pretty hard as he slides. And, Jalen does the don't let him show you bleed, which you wrote about. Even though it looks like there are a couple of times when he is banged up and then it clicks in his mind. Yep. Okay, I can't let him show it. But then he gets the penalty on Tracy Walker, who then gets ejected for the game because after that flag, he throws a punch to unnecessary roughnesses. But that's what Jalen Hurts was in this game. He was killing the Lions defense with that, but also taking hits. And he gives his post-game press conference. He's got a bandage on his hand and a bandage on his elbow. It's going to be a long season. You hope that he's up for it. I don't think the Eagles want him running 16, 17 times a game. But in this game, at least those scrambles were necessary.
Yeah, I've been harping on it, and I truly believe it, that he's going to be a prolific runner this year. The only thing that will stop him is injury. I mean, we had the thing with Denise the other day, and then we had our preview, and I mentioned the 1,000 yards because if he's healthy, I think the volume and the production is going to be there. Now, the emphasis on his run, I don't want that to overshadow the way he passed the ball today. Now that there were bad passes in there, right? You throw the ball. I'm pulling up the numbers here. But you throw the ball 32 times at this stage of his development. There are going to be passes where like, that's not there. But there were also passes where he fitted in a tight window. The deep pass to AJ Brown, the 54-yarder, beautiful. I mean, AJ said that just fell out of the sky. That was a dime to him. There was
tight
one
window completion.
Yeah, and so I have to give Jalen credit there. I mean, I'll give the coach qualifier here. We'll watch the tape tomorrow. On the plane, if I can download it, I'll queue it up. But
that all 22 is not going to be ready tomorrow.
No, but the TV copy is.
Yeah.
You get a condensed game, you knock that out in 40 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. TV copy.
Trying to take a shot at Game Pass. That's all.
Okay. So
it's going to be like Saturday afternoon. It's finally ready, and you're not going to be able to go play by play.
It's true.
Unless you're using a VPN from
for the internet.
Europe. Yeah.
NFL writer problems, right?
Yeah.
Our audience doesn't. They don't care.
I think there's some sickos in here who want to watch the all 22.
You got it. I have a sweatshirt at home that's it's from the it's a motto from the Ravens. It says nobody cares, work harder, right? And so nobody cares, work harder.
I have a sweatshirt at home that says Bowditch, which is an inside joke about Stephen Bowditch, the mercurial golfer.
I don't even know who that is.
It's okay. I thought we were doing sweatshirt talk.
So as I was remarking about Jalen's passes, I thought he had we'll watch more tomorrow, but I thought this was one of the better games I've seen him play, and they needed it today because the defense was inconsistent. They needed points today. The running game was really effective. I mean, I'm looking here. Miles Sanders 7.4 yards per carry. Kenny Gainwell 4 yards per carry. All four players score touchdowns. And when I say all four, Hurts, Sanders, Scott, and Gainwell. But it was Jalen that was really the engine here. And big picture for the season, that's a good sign.
And I think to your earlier point about the passing, the some of the strides that you wanted to see him take, some of the areas that were lacking last year, it wasn't perfect today, but he completed more passes over the middle of the field. That's definitely true. There was that opening touchdown drive, their first touchdown drive. He completed 4 passes over the middle of the field, 3 of them to A.J. Brown, 1 to Kenny Gainwell. And we talked about how A.J. Brown is going to unlock that part of the field for him. That turned out to be true.
Yeah.
Everything we saw of Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown over the summer, I've said this before, like you like when summer things carry over to the regular season because it means that training camp matters in some ways, even though we like to downplay it sometimes. That was exactly what we saw all summer was the ease of that connection, how dominant AJ Brown was, and how willing Jalen Hurts was to throw it to him. I think it's already on our radar that Devontae Smith did not have a catch tonight. He had one that was called back for penalty, but that's something that they're going to be worried about. But Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown is pretty great so far.
So a few things there. So we're transitioning to the A.J. Brown part of the show.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, to your second point there about Devontae and even Dallas, I think they're going to be very cognizant of this throughout the year. Even in the comments today, I wrote an A.J. Brown story. I asked Darius Slay about AJ's production, and it was like, well, all our receivers are really good, and I think
Jalen Hurts said the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we got so many weapons on the outside. One guy had 155 yards, the other guy had 0.
Even AJ was like, 1 week it's going to be me, the next week it's going to be Devontae.
I didn't think Devontae looked good today. He had a drop on the sideline.
He did have a drop. Yeah,
he couldn't get off the coverage on one back shoulder throw. I mean, Hurts had a couple throws that weren't great to him, but he didn't look super spry to me today.
Yeah, I just think regarding AJ, it doesn't need to be this even distribution. If he's that good, he's that good.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm teasing my story here, but AJ had a sign. I knew you were going to do that joke.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. AJ had a sign in his locker this week, always open, right? And he played coy. I didn't realize you guys were coming in here. I would have taken it down. But
you think he's just a Chris Hogan fan?
Why was that? Oh, yeah, 7-Eleven. Yeah. But it's very much like he said. Even when I'm covered, I'm open. He didn't. he did not deny that he feels he's always open. And when you watch him today, yeah, that's the case. I mean, there were 2 passes early in the game. The second, so Jalen started 0 for 5 on the opening drive.
Yeah, and it was ugly. It was an ugly 0 for 5.
And I think it's Quez Watkins on the second drive gets called for a penalty. So it's 1st and 15 at the 13-yard line. And 2 consecutive passes to Jalen Hurts. Oh, I'm sorry. From Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. One, just like short pass up the middle that A.J. runs after the catch, had a spin move through traffic, gets a 10-yard gain. The next play, I think, a 15-yard gain, a little more space there. That drive, he had 4 catches on that drive. Eagles score a touchdown. Eagles had 5 scoring drives today. I'm not including the interception return for a touchdown. Like drives, 4 touchdowns, 1 field goal. Jalen Hurts, I keep saying Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown had a catch on 4 of those 5 drives. Mm-hmm. Okay, he only had 1 catch on the non-scoring drives. His production like tangibly led to points. In terms of the target share he had 13 targets. That was the most by an Eagles. It was more than anyone had last year. The most anyone had last year was Devontae with 10. And you have to go back to Alshon Jeffrey in 2019 against Miami to the last time someone had more than 13. Travis Fulgham had it against the Steelers in 2020.
Yes, I think I agree with the point that some people have made that A.J. Brown is the best wide receiver the Eagles have had since Travis Fulgham.
Well, I was going to say, if you watch today, if today's your first time really watching AJ in an Eagles uniform, because the preseason, it was 1 drive, they didn't pass to him there. And you said, that reminds me of Terrell Owens. I don't think it's hyperbole. Like, he's the closest the Eagles have had to T.O. in terms of the physical presence. And then when you see the impact that he has on the game, that's the type of acquisition he is. You can see why the Eagles gave up a first, a third, and $100 million over 4 years. Like, they paid a premium price because he is a premium player. And you said it before.
And the Titans lost at home to the Giants.
Yeah. And their top pass catcher was, I think, like Kyle Phillips.
Maybe.
So he fundamentally changes the offense. Like, they had a sense of firepower today that they did not have last season. So I am, like, as we track this week to week, I am curious how that Devontae and Dallas storyline will go. But it doesn't need to be, I don't want to get politics in it.
I mean, you work for the New York Times.
It doesn't need to be like everyone gets the same here.
Goddard had 3 for 60, by the way.
On 4 targets. If AJ's playing like that, give him 13 targets, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't want to make this too happy about the offense because, I mean, they put up 38 points, but it wasn't great. And they almost were not able to close the game out at the end. But, like, it seemed like, and I thought this way about the defense too, like, the stuff that they were trying to do when they were trying to get cute, like, it wasn't working. Like, in the beginning of the game, it's like, okay, let's get Devontae his targets. Let's make sure we mix in enough 12 personnel to vary up our looks. That stuff wasn't working very well in this game. But when it was like, okay, backs against the wall, let's do what we know is going to work and get the ball to A.J. Brown, like, yeah, that works. And that, unless that's going to work until teams really shade their coverage to A.J. Brown, and then it's going to be easier for Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert at that point. So I agree with you. Like, do this until someone stops it. Like, let A.J. Brown lead the way.
Yeah, so and not to get into the defense, but kind of the difference here is my biggest critique of the offense today are things that I think can easily be fixed by, hooting and hollering in meetings and, the
that's all it takes.
Well, I'm saying these
there are
these
like
penalties.
This was a very sloppy game, and there are things that should be cleaned up.
And like Nick Sirianni said, he said in his post-game press conference that they consider these pre-snap penalties a different category, and those are going to be on the board and addressed differently. They had 12 men in the huddle. They had delay of games. They had these sloppy pre-snap penalties that I mean, perhaps I shouldn't have said it's as easy as hooting and hollering, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's the type of thing where you look at your team and you're like, I don't know if we can fix this. Like, you can fix 12 guys on the field and
you put 11 on the field instead. It's actually pretty easy.
Yeah, and delay of game. Like, there are things you can do to work that. Now, I am, as a quick aside, I was like under the radar surprised that they didn't practice in the bubble this week. You know, they did all their practices.
Yes, to make it loud.
Yeah, they had the.
It was pretty loud at times.
Yes, it was loud in there. I mean, AJ said, it's like I couldn't even hear you talk, and he wasn't talking. He was pointing to Elliott Shore Parks, who was like sitting right in front of him. So it was certainly loud in there. But the defense's issues, those weren't like, yeah, let's just address this in a meeting. Those are
we'll get to the defense. We're not ready to talk defense yet.
Exactly. But like my point being that if you say, all right, stop telling me all the good things. What's your concern about the offense? My concern about the offense is they had sloppy pre-snap penalties, and they can fix that.
And it's probably not this simple, but if it is a 1-to-1 of we didn't get enough work in the preseason, we're going to have a sloppy first game, you take that. Yeah. Because you're healthy. Like the Lions were missing guys. Yep. They had to play their third string right guard. Didn't actually matter because the Eagles couldn't get a pass rush. But if the balance is healthier, a little sloppier in the beginning of the season, I think you take that, and that's what we saw.
Yeah.
So the last drive, Eagles are up 38-35 with just under 2 minutes left. Yeah. Lions have two timeouts.
I'm glad you bring this up.
It's a 4-minute drill. Eagles did not really have too many opportunities to have like a 4-minute drill close out the game last year because when they won big, which obviously they were so good at in 2017. You're thinking this behind this offensive line, the number one rushing team in the country or in the league last year, should be able to do it, and they did, but it was tight. So there's that 3rd and 2, and it looks like Miles Sanders gets stuffed. They go run. It looks like Miles Sanders gets stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. He does a nice job not going down, squirts around to the outside, gets a big run. And then again, 3 runs, they don't get it. 4th and 1, they call the quarterback sneak for Jalen Hurts. 2 things. Were you impressed or a little bit disappointed that it was so difficult? And then 2, were you surprised they went for it on 4th down? Because it was about the Lions' 40-yard line. Let me get the actual specifics up because it was not, I thought, a given that they would go for it because it was only a 3-point lead. It would have only taken a couple completions for the Lions to get into field goal range. It was 4th and 1 from the 40. So exactly right, from the 40.
Yeah.
But if you get it, you win the game. You trust your quarterback to get 1 yard and win the game.
Love the call. It's the call. I mean, it's the call I would have made if I was the head coach, right? So now you asked, was I surprised? Initially, I was like, you have to go for this, right? And the game. And you're sitting next to me and you present the argument you just made, and I'm like, you're right, actually. They're gonna punt this because
I didn't say that I would punt it, but exactly.
No,
right,
you gave me the argument. And I said they're gonna punt this because if they miss it, then the Lions, like you said, are a few passes away from field goal range, maybe even a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, if they get the field goal, then you go into a coin toss situation, right? There's so much that could happen. So I thought they would just try to, all right, make them go, 50 yards, 60 yards. But no, they went for it. They get it. I asked Nick Sirianni about this after the game, and Nick said faith. He has faith in his offensive line. He has faith in his quarterback. He has faith in
God bless football.
He said he has faith in a tight end who he said they have a tight end who's one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, and he just so happens to be one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL as well.
Jack Stoll.
He was referring to Dallas Goedert. Okay. He said that, and it's not just like it's also faith based on evidence, essentially, right? That he saw them do this last year. He saw Boston Scott in Washington do this. And I bring that up. He pointed that out, but I bring that up because Nick Sirianni was not as aggressive of a 4th down coach in the first 15 games last year. And they were not as successful 4th down team in the first 15 games last year. And that's why, if you remember week 17, so in the first 16 games last year, right? No, first 15 games, yeah. So week 17 down in Washington, they went for 4th and goal a few times. That's why that was the difference in the game. And it was I remember writing about it after the game because it was a departure from what Sirianni had done. He was aggressive today. They were 2 of 3 on fourth downs. A few of those fourth downs were not obvious go for it situations, right? Or
one was 4th and 5 on the opening drive,
Yep.
which they did not get. And the other was 4th and goal from the 1,
Yep.
and that was the Jalen Hurts
Yes.
touchdown.
Yes. And so I give them credit because it led the 4th and goal obviously led to 7 points that they needed. And then the one at the end of the game, that ended the game. And so I give him credit there.
And it's
You spoke
probably
to the O-lineman. What did they say?
they were not surprised that they went
Okay.
for it. And I mean, it really is probably as simple as the game is on the line. What do you trust more? This offensive line and Jalen Hurts getting a yard, or that Garbanzo Beans defense stopping the Lions from getting 50 yards?
Yep.
And I think you made the right call, given how
So let me ask
Swiss
you this.
cheese they were on defense.
So Nick won't say this, okay? I get it, and but do you think in Nick's mind he factored in the way the defense was playing?
100%.
Interesting. Okay, because I didn't think that initially. I just thought he's like, let's just end the game now.
I'm not saying that tipped the scales, that he wouldn't have made the same decision if the defense was playing lights out, but I'm sure he considered it. How could you not?
Okay. So now, so I guess this is a better way of saying it. If it was a 9-6 game, does he punt it?
I don't know. I mean, if it's a 9-6 game, presumably they haven't been able to run the ball as well. It was interesting. I asked Jalen Hurts after the game if he had to like lobby for that, and he had like sort of a wry smile, like which he rarely gives. And he was like, we went for it, we got it, and we move on or something like that. But he had like a little smile, which I don't know. Maybe he did have to say like, give me the ball, and the game started with them putting the ball in his hands to run. The game ended with them putting the ball in his hands to run.
How many subscribers would you need, or I shouldn't frame it that way. How many like YouTube likes or comments do you need
To take my shirt off?
No, to wear Jalen Hurts' outfit for the next pod?
I mean, if all it's going to take is somebody buying me the outfit.
Okay.
I'm not buying it myself,
Yeah.
but if someone gets me that outfit,
Yeah.
I'll wear it. That's fine.
Sharp outfit.
You got something against a maroon jumpsuit?
I literally just said it's a sharp outfit.
Yeah, but
I-
it feels like you're being cheeky.
Not cheeky at all. I don't think it's your sense of style, but I think Jalen
Well.
pulls it off exceedingly well.
Yeah, there's some things he pulls off better than me. There are some things I pull off better than him,
Fair enough.
like a crown.
Fair enough.
Jalen Hurts in this game, 4.06 air yards per attempt, which is his second lowest in the Sirianni era to, if you'll remember, last year's week 1 when he was similarly dink and dunk. Now, it didn't look to me like it did that game because there was the downfield play to AJ Brown, and I think there weren't that many deep shots. It was, I think, just one other one to Devontae Smith when he was rolling out that was incomplete. So I would imagine that will be something in the offense that will expand as the weeks go on.
Well, and to your point there, AJ Brown, this was his 13th career 100-yard game. Okay, his 7.23 air yards per target were the fewest of any of those 100-yard games. So that shows you too that he was getting, obviously he needed that big 54-yarder to get over 100 yards. But his damage today came in the short and the intermediate game, and the 54-yarder, we should also point out, extended. He has the most 50+ yard catches in the NFL since he came into the league in 2019. So he gets one today in his first game with the Eagles. And
it's almost like you wrote about him.
Yes, and he had, just to give a few more AJ Brown stats here, he had the most yards by an Eagles player in a debut, breaking Dante Stallworth's record.
And do you know who number 3 on that list was?
Ooh, good question.
Hopalong Cassidy.
I did not. Okay.
Great name.
Should have put that in the story.
Hopalong.
And his first.
You don't see a lot of kids being named Hopalong these days.
It'd be a good nickname. Good nickname.
Hopalong Berman, Hopalong Wolf.
Yeah.
How about Hopalong Dunn?
How do you get Hopalong?
If they're going to have like 8 kids, maybe one of them could be Hopalong.
And
I was thinking today about how Marissa's announcement about how many kids they wanted to have was very much like the LeBron James Miami. Like not one, not two, not three, not four. Oh, you're on mute, Marissa.
Damn, it ruined it. I said not 5.
Not
Wait, what did she say?
5.
Not 5.
Zach can't hear Marissa. Too.
I'm one of 6. It's a great way to grow up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
A little
there you go.
chaos, but yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we take a little break since we've got Marissa? We will come back on the other side. We'll talk about the defense. We'll see if Zach wants to defend his boy. But we will, more importantly, get to the results of Week 1 Swooper.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. More athletes are speaking out about the importance of mental health. But you don't have to be a pro if you want to be at the top of your game. Everyone needs to take care of their mental well-being, whether you're an athlete or not. Therapy is the best way to stay in peak mental shape. BetterHelp is so important, and therapy can help unload stress, help with anxiety and depression, and even help with emotional healing. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, and entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey and switch therapists anytime. When you're ready to feel at the top of your mental game, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/BWF today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/BWF. Our next sponsor is Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn how to cook from Gordon Ramsay, improve your jump shot from Steph Curry, or even learn how to sing from Christina Aguilera. With over 100 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. I recently checked out that Steph Curry class with my little nephew who loves basketball, and we were blown away. The coolest part is you could start and stop at any time and return back and watch all of the videos. It's so cool, and he is loving it. I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every masterclass, and as a Birds with Friends listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/firstdown. That's masterclass.com/firstdown for 15% off masterclass.
All right. Back on Birds with Friends with Marissa, who is on the scene in Charlotte after the Browns got a W.
It was quite an exciting W too. So
Quite an exciting W, she says. I'm gonna have to translate for Zach.
All wins are good ones.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
said
yeah.
a W unlike you got in Swooper, but it's gonna be
Oh
it's
wow.
gonna be interesting. So
I thought you were saying that to
I got
me.
multiple
let's get
texts
to
about
now
Marissa's
for the Greg Rosenthal's among you who only tune in for post-game shows and aren't aware of the rules of Swooper Sorecasting. What happens is on the Friday show that previews the game, we bid on these outcomes. New rules this year with Marissa joining the fray, and we're in a skins game territory now. So if there's a tie, it means that no one gets a point this week. No one gets half points. Next week is worth 2. And so everybody had 4 balls in the air. We'll start with Zach. Devontae Smith leads the Eagles in receiving yards. Zach, you paid 7 turkeys for that. How did that work out for you?
Not well.
Not well. Okay. How it worked out about as well as the 4 turkeys you paid for nothing.
5 turkeys.
5 turkeys.
5.
You paid.
Yes.
You had the game finishes at 3:59 p.m. or earlier. This was a long
No,
game,
yes, it was.
so that did not come.
That's
through.
why we have a later podcast. Today.
That's why we have. That's not why we would have had a late podcast regardless. You had both teams finish with an odd number of points. Could have happened. Did not. 38-35. And you had Nate Sudfeld plays at least one snap. I did not see him on the field. It's possible he got it on special teams or defense, but I did not see him on offense.
He did not. This was a tough performance. Look, I mean, not blaming anyone. I take full responsibility for it. I was
The
not,
chat is lighting up with 5s.
I was not adequately. Look, that is. I can laugh at myself, but that was not a fine. I mean, that's not a moment I'm proud of, and it's one that I wish.
You
I
take
wish
it
we
way
didn't
too
do.
seriously.
I don't think it's a good reflection of me. So this is a
It's
bad
much
week.
less embarrassing than when you just aren't listening to what I'm saying and then
Well, I'm never
repeat the same thing.
You're never
always have
listening to
something
what I'm
going
saying.
on. It's not like I'm daydreaming or something like that. But no, I had an awful week in that I got 0 things correct, and I'm only carrying over 5 turkeys. So if I'm going to do that poorly, it's like this was a complete waste of money, or a complete waste of turkey.
Not
so,
necessarily.
so
Let's
there's
see what
No.
happens.
so I need to go back and look at what I did well a year ago, and try to reapply that.
You just got to call Munger up and see what he has to say. He'll give you some
But yeah,
advice.
this is an ugly start. I feel like who's a team? I feel like the Los Angeles Rams, actually, right? So
That's good.
Yeah, fitting.
Yeah, okay. Marissa had an Eagles rookie, has either a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, or a fumble recovery. Did not happen for Jordan Davis. We can get to Jordan Davis's role. Nakobe Dean played like 3 snaps in goal line. Did not notch anything there to give Marissa a point. She had, in the all-pay auction, the Eagles win the game. Takes that one down. That's 1 point. She had the one which I think we misinterpreted from Deniz, but the result was the same anyway. So you got 2 points for that. The one with whoever spends the most, whoever has the fewest turkeys left wins the bid. You got that. And then you had Eagles edge rushers combined for at least 2.5 sacks. That definitely did not happen. Just half a sack for Brandon Graham. I had Aiden Hutchinson does not have a sack or a quarterback hit. That did happen. He was completely invisible in this game, probably because of the small arms.
I texted you guys. I wish you could have seen my, after coming back from the Browns game, me pulling up the box score, scrolling down the list to see Aiden Hutchinson. I'm like, come on, QB hit. Come on, QB hit.
There was actually one play where it looked like he was close, and then Jalen Hurts threw the ball away, and I think that was his one chance. But
I think it would show that good offensive line. So
yeah.
good Eagles offensive line.
I had Jalen Hurts has more rushes than Lions points. 17 rushes. I would have felt pretty good if I had known that going in. But the Lions going up against Johnny Gannon's defense scored more points. Jared Goff throws for more yards than Matthew Stafford did on Thursday. That was 240 yards. Goff did not hit that. But a player on either team scores at least 2 touchdowns. Jamal Williams getting pay dirt twice. That's 2 for me, 2 for Marissa. Neither of us gets any points. Zach, you're in good shape. You got 5 turkeys. We both have 5 turkeys left over. Next week's worth 2.
You guys are in better shape than me.
yeah, but I need to get better at it, right? So it doesn't do me any good if I have as poor performance as I did today.
All right. Well, speaking of poor performances and having to get better, let's talk about the Eagles defense now.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
The Eagles defense, let's say the good. After giving up an ugly touchdown drive on the opening drive of the game, including the first run of the season going for more yards than any single run they went up against last year, they forced 3 consecutive 3-and-outs. They stemmed the tide. They gave the offense a chance to settle into the game and take the lead. That was nice. After that, it was pretty awful. And let's see if I can pull up
Here's the drive chart.
Oh, you got the drive chart. Okay. That's what I was looking for. So they go touchdown, punt, 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 interception, pick 6. So that 4 drives in a row, they're rolling. After that, touchdown, end of half kneel down, touchdown, punt, touchdown. So 4 touchdowns on 5 drives after that, and including like you're only up 3 points with under 2 minutes left. And I think what we saw from this defense is, if you are someone who happens to be like a game theory specialist from Wharton named Selman, and you have certain opinions, this is what you were worried about. A lot of different moving parts, a lot of different looks, none of them successful. And we saw a lot of different stuff. I'm tracking the alignments. You've got your odd man looks where it's 3 defensive tackles and 2 edge guys standing up. It's like a 5-1-5. You've got your 5-2 where Reddick's overhanging and there's one other linebacker and in there in nickel personnel in the secondary, or it's 5-2 with base personnel in the secondary. You've got a regular even man front with 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles. You saw lots of Marlon Tuipulotu. You saw Jordan Davis. You saw Javon Hargrave and Milton Williams and Fletcher Cox all playing a bunch. You saw Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett all playing a bunch. And they were not getting after Jared Goff at all.
Yeah.
There was nothing super surprising. There was one of those 3 and outs. They had a blitz on first and third down, which you rarely saw last year. But after that, I mean, it was much ado about nothing. And if they were playing a mediocre quarterback, they would have lost this game.
I agree. I mean, look, I can't defend this defense today, and I've defended Gannon. Probably gotten a reputation on this pod for doing so. And philosophically, I understand what he's wanted to do, but the lack of pressure, that to me is what stands out more than anything. Okay, so I'm looking here
against a banged up offensive line.
Yeah, and they kept talking about this offensive line after the game. You know, Nick said this is one of the best offensive lines in the league, and he'll take his offensive line over them. But after that, I mean, look, they have some good players. I'm not going to deny that, but they to not get pressure is the Eagles had 6 quarterback hits. All right, Fletcher Cox had 2.
I'm actually surprised it was that many.
Josh Sweat had 2. Graham had 1. Marlon had 1. And Marlon's was huge. It forced the interception.
A huge play.
And but overall, like there
best
were times
pass rush of the game.
So there were times when I have my binoculars tracked in on a given edge rusher, and it happens to be Josh Sweat from time to time. and
Josh Sweat like opens the blinds in his kitchen at like 11:30 at night. He's getting a little snack when he gets home, and he sees there's a car parked out front with like a Syracuse decal, Newhouse School of Journalism decal, and there's Zach with his binoculars pounding in. There he is.
So
looking good, Josh. Is a thumbs up.
So in any event, I see Sweat dropping in the coverage, and
several times,
and it's like, why do you have Josh Sweat dropping in coverage? How does and I understand. I'm going to hear from people who probably not listeners here, but who are going to say you have to think about it as a team defense, right? He does it so someone else can do that. Well, someone else isn't doing that.
Exactly.
Right? So to me, if you're not getting pressure and a guy you're paying a lot of money and you identify as like this up and coming edge rusher, for him not to be rushing the quarterback, and when he'll tell you he's not good at he's not good at this. Like,
right.
He
laughs when you ask him about it.
He
He's
doesn't
like, I don't
want
to be dropping.
Yeah. Like you can't tell me, well, Sweat's good at it. So, no. And even Hassan Reddick, I don't think Hassan Reddick's particularly good at dropping either. I understand there are plays when but they're not getting pressure. They need to figure out why if the 2 best edge rushers they have. I mean, I suppose Graham's up there too, but Reddick
another shot
and
Barnett
Sweat,
out of you. Okay.
need to go toward the quarterback more often. But the bottom line is they are not getting nearly enough pressure. It is a problem for the investment that they make in it. They were 31 in the league in sacks last year. They go out, they spend $15 million a year on Hassan Reddick. They have Brandon Graham coming back. They bring Derek Barnett back. They to go up against an offensive line that looks like this with a third string interior, with a third string guard like you mentioned, and a quarterback like Jared Goff.
Goff was he missed so many open guys, and there were some drops in there too. But
for the only sack of the game to come on a bobble snap. And by the way, last year they had 6 sacks in this game last year. 6 sacks. And
no Taylor Decker, no Frank Ragnow.
But Eagles guys get paid too. You got to get to the quarterback. And so whether that's schemed or not, it's problematic. And then to be gashed on the ground. Look, I liked what Nick Sirianni said when it was like a ticket after my heart, where he's like, that running back from Philadelphia is really good. Yeah, he is really good, but he's not like 144 yards on 15 carries.
9.6 yards per carry.
How about the third down when Jared Goff runs for 10 yards?
Yeah, there was some bad tackling.
Yeah.
So listen, if we want to calm the temperature of all the people telling us fire Johnny Gannon, and there are a lot of them,
Well, that's right. I mean,
If
you're
you
not going
wanna
to
take
fire
it-
the defensive coordinator after one. That's
well,
ridiculous.
not unless you can just bring Vic Fangio in. But
That's even still. He's
I know, of course. But it's week 1. Got a lot of moving parts. These guys did not play a lot in the preseason, so it's going to take some time. You're trying a bunch of different things to see what works. The tackling is going to get better. Maybe the run fits were sloppy, just like the blocking and pre-snap stuff was sloppy on offense. Like those things are going to improve. Okay. What was disappointing to me was, well, one of many things that was disappointing, but like the Reddick thing that we've been worried about, and I'm not even talking about the dropping into coverage, and the same with Josh Sweat, but like the only time they really seemed to game something up for Hassan Reddick to have an interesting look at pressure as opposed to just lining up on the edge and running around the edge was like late in the game. Some key third downs, they put him as a stacked inside linebacker, and like obvious that he was blitzing, and he blitzed twice, and they picked up first downs both times. One of them was on a penalty, but like there was no creativity in the rush plans. It seemed like it was just counting on these guys to win. And listen, they're better. Like the personnel is better. They should be able to win.
Yeah.
It's not just Jonathan Gannon if Josh Sweat can't get home, and Brandon Graham can't get home. Like that's on them too. But it seems too much right now. Like I've got all these guys. Think of all the different ways I can use them.
Yes.
And not what do they do best? Let them do what they do best and not have to think so much.
I agree 100%. Right. I mean, I know, like, all right. So Shield used to say that, I can say that.
I don't know. I don't. Who was that?
That, you
The
know,
Shield, like Roger, the Shield.
that the whole thing of coaching is
Yes.
like to get more of your talent, right? But so Nick Sirianni had a line last week that I was thinking about it over the weekend, and I was like, it's the simplicity of the lines, like it's brilliant, right, to me, and that is he grew up in like with the understanding, with like the philosophy that you have to coach your town. His dad was a high school coach, but you coach the guys who are in the town that year. You can't just bring in this guy or that guy. You look at who your players are and you coach the players you have. And I understand the Eagles made some moves this year to be more flexible, but the bottom line is you need to look at the players you have and figure out each. I keep hearing that they have a role for everybody. Well,
Right.
The
Maybe
role,
everybody doesn't need a role.
the role has to maximize the guy to like figure out a way to maximize every player you have. And you fundamentally can't use this argument that it's all about the team defense. You're going to have this guy do it to serve the greater good of the defense when the team defense is not good enough. It's okay to drop this guy if someone else is getting pressure, but they're not getting pressure. I think their coverages sometimes they mix. I feel like there's no relationship or congruent. It's incongruent between the coverage and the rush sometimes, right? There are times like when they're playing off coverage, but they're not, they don't have this aggressive rush.
Right.
So then the quarterback has more time. I mean, there are guys.
It's hard to overstate how bad Goff was today. Like really, this game, like they could have just won this game if Goff was fine.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Now Swift was really good, right? There were plays, but I keep going back to third downs.
And there were some missed tackles. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had a few missed tackles.
Avante.
He played the whole game.
Yeah.
He played every snap.
Yeah.
Gardner-Johnson. Avante had some missed tackles.
But I keep going back to third downs because, look, I
thought Marcus Epps played a good game.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. And he had a tackle for a loss on the second drive of the game that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you need to get them off the field on third down. And we had to talk with Denise last week about third down defense, and how if it get the best way to not see your third down defense is to convert on first and second down, which Eagles allowed last year. But today they got them the third down situations. They couldn't get them off the field, and they got them in the third and long situations. And if you think back to that game against the Falcons last year when the defense played outstanding, the third down defense was critical there. my biggest concern for this defense, I said at the top of the show, is the way they played on third downs and their inability to rush the quarterback effectively today.
And in terms of situational defense, we talked about how you would expect red zone defense to revert to the mean. They were 29th last year. Well, 3 for 3 the Lions were on the red zone on scoring touchdowns this week. Only 1 week, but that did not take a big jump. I think like in addition to maybe this is the same thing. It's the defense itself. But what I'm really concerned about is not even it might not just be that there's like too predictable even in these different fronts. Like structurally, is this defense designed to get pressure? And I don't know that it is.
It's a fair question when you have players who
they've got enough guys on defense that they should be able to get after the quarterback.
Exactly. It's I mean, I can defend them about certain things. You cannot sell me on this pass rush right now. This what they did.
Nor can you sell man.
Well, sell man. Oh, Denise. Yeah.
Come on, that's great wordplay.
And so then, they had a few penalties there, but I really thought, the third down defense.
It's week one, but the post game pod is about overreacting.
So there's one other thing I wanted to point out, and this really stood out to me on the first drive when Detroit was running all over them. But Jordan Davis, I thought Jordan Davis played well when he was in the game. Yeah. I don't understand why we didn't see more of Jordan Davis. I get, like for instance, they converted fourth down. I
don't think he was ever on the field in even fronts. I think it was all odd fronts.
So, there was a time when Jordan had a good run stuff. Then it was a 4th and 1 and Detroit scored a touchdown on it. And they just ran, they ran to the edge to avoid
they got a
Jordan.
Little quick snap around the edge. Yeah,
exactly. But overall, I need to see more of Jordan Davis. Right. So, I was
good for Tui though. Tui played well.
For all we're ripping on the defense, they did have a game-changing play, right?
Yeah.
So Bradberry's pick 6 and Kaiser White gets his hand in there. That's a game-changing play.
It's crazy that they could have that 4-drive stretch of 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, pick 6, and still everybody's disappointed.
Yeah. Now Sirianni said the thing they emphasize most is turnovers. The Eagles had 0 turnovers, and they had a takeaway that led to points. So you give them credit there, right? Because
James Bradberry's first touchdown on defense since October 2011 when he was in high school, he said.
That's a good one.
Oh, is it that good?
That's good. So I want to make
it that good.
So my editor just this is from before, but I never want to put out bad information. My editor just said, actually, Brown caught passes on all 5 of the Eagles scoring drives. The last one just happened to be a pass for no gain. So, so 5 for 5 there, even though it didn't directly lead.
5,
correct.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't mean to go astray there. Bottom line, defense needs to be better.
Well, and they got a tough matchup next week against Justin Jefferson.
And Jalen Reagor.
That's true. All right, let's take our second break, come back and clean up the notebook, some other things that we've got to talk about, including another coach who Zach defends, who needs to be held to the fire.
We all have busy lives these days and can't afford to waste a day stuck on the couch because of a few drinks the night before. Z-Biotics is the answer we've all been waiting for. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produced an enzyme to break the byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it most. Just remember to drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep. Give Z-Biotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/BWF to get 15% off your first order when you use BWF at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with 100% money back guaranteed, so if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. I'm excited to share with you our next partner because it's a pretty cool product. Let's talk about Athletic Greens. If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you've got to check out Athletic Greens. I'm sure you'll all agree that most of us are not huge fans of having to take a bunch of pills or vitamins in the morning, but with Athletic Greens, you can get rid of all those extra vitamin bottles and finally make some room in your cabinet. Athletic Greens is an all-in-one solution that actually tastes good. You'll really enjoy getting your daily vitamins. If you check out my fridge, you'll see it in there because I've been hearing about this product all summer. My sister and her boyfriend kept bringing this up to me as something I needed to try, so I started trying it myself. I was wondering, as you might be, what is it? Well, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, all to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, your aging, all these things. It's lifestyle friendly whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, and it supports better sleep quality and recovery while also supporting mental clarity and alertness. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into flu and cold season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/birds. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/birds to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
All right, back on Birds with Friends. Happy birthday shout out to Brendan Quinn, the athletic writer, the great athletic writer, who was celebrating his big 4-0 with some friends at the game today.
Big fan of Brendan Quinn.
How could you not be?
I like his college hoops coverage. You probably like his golf coverage. So
I like both.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Zach, speaking of college sports,
I don't know where you're going with this.
your boy. I've been getting some texts from an avid listener who I don't know if he wants to be on the record on this, who has been saying pretty much nonstop over the past couple of weeks that your boy has this awful offense. And now the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Tommy Rees, 0-2, losing to Marshall. What is going on with your boy?
Yeah, so I didn't get to watch that game, but that's bad. And look, credit to Marshall. Charles Huff's a good coach, but still, they shouldn't go in the Notre Dame Stadium and beat them. And I do like Tommy Rees's offense.
What's to like?
Well, not what I didn't see yesterday's game against Ohio State. I actually thought he did some good things early.
Well, like all those give up draws, those cowards draws on third down.
I thought the way they were getting the tight end open in space.
Give me a
break. No, that was
he didn't even respond to your email that time. You don't have to defend this guy.
Yeah. Oh, I mean Notre Dame. Look, there's nothing wrong losing to Ohio State, right? Ohio State's really good.
I don't know. I mean, if you have any like self respect, you should not be happy losing to Ohio State.
I'm not saying be happy about it, but that's like a defensible loss. Marshall at home is an indefensible loss, and there's a lot of. I mean, look, there's a lot of programs that have a lot of talent that laid an egg yesterday. Texas A&M, probably chief among them, right? But can't.
I'd say Notre Dame.
What?
I'd say Notre Dame chief among them.
I think the Texas A&M loss was worse than the Notre Dame loss.
I don't really care. I just want to keep banging on Tommy Rees.
Yeah, you're really sour on that. That's such a random thing to. First off, he's not my boy. I simply pointed out something that Nick Sirianni pointed out. So if you listen to any other podcast, you would not have known about that Tommy Rees, Nick Sirianni connection. before.
Only if you were watching the press conference and you saw someone's chest puffing out all the way into the.
No, before it was brought up. No, so I mean, we're probably the only podcast that said they could claim or they could claim Ian Book tomorrow because of this. I don't know how much that's worth really from a podcast perspective. I
would say
I think there's a lot of great things
lot.
that we do as a podcast. I would not put that like high on the list, but I wouldn't put Tommy Reese in my book. And I am curious how many texts you're getting that are ripping on me here, right? So
every Saturday.
Okay.
Several a day. Yeah.
Look, I know he's not your boy, but Jim Harbaugh's squad looks pretty good.
Okay. It's been 2 games. What do you want to...
Who's your boy in college football? Who can I pick on? Who's
Brian Flynn?
Okay, I don't know what Princeton is right now. I'm sorry to say.
Okay, well, yeah, I'd like to see you try to pick on Coach Flynn.
I mean, I'm a big Coach Flynn fan, but Nick Saban, they eked that one out. That was a tough. All
right, enough college football talk. We don't. I mean, I just wanted to give you some Tommy Reese stuff. I do have a grouse. I don't know if this happens to you in the suburbs anymore, but when you were in the city, tell me about this. Trash day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you leave your recycling bin, you leave your trash bin out. These dog owners who drop their dog poop bag into the empty garbage bin.
Yeah. And then it just ruins your garbage bin. Yeah. No,
What is that?
I knew that very well.
It's like the person who spits their gum in the urinal. Like, someone's got to clean this up. This is not like this is not. You're not the only one living in the world.
So yeah. So look,
find a garbage kit. Like come on.
I agree with you 100% there. Now, I am guilty of, like, let's say I'm eating like ice cream on the walk or something, right?
Okay.
And I just pick something that will be in a bowl, or no, let's say coffee. Okay, you're drinking coffee.
You find a recycling bin.
No, like if you're throwing out the trash, like throwing it out in someone's trash can.
Yeah,
I've done that from time to time.
Okay.
But I've never walked a dog, but like I've never owned a dog before. But yeah, I can't imagine throwing dog poop in someone else's trash.
What are we doing? This is a society. This happens every week.
Yeah, I agree.
Disgusting.
I agree.
Yeah. Now I got to clean up your poop. I got to hose down this trash can.
I agree.
Awful. You're groused.
Okay. What else? Oh, you had was the Marshall thing the Tommy Reese thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
See, yeah, I put a couple notes in the Birds with Friends Slack to remind myself to bring something up, but I don't want to give it away to you. I can't just put Tommy Reese in there. You got to be unprepared. So yeah, I put in Marshall.
Okay. Fair enough.
And dogs.
And BQ.
That was Brendan Quinn.
There you go.
So there you go. 3 for 3. All right, let's get some of the notes out there. Anything else that we need to unpack from this game? We mentioned Gardner-Johnson. We were a little bit curious to see how much he was going to play, how much they were going to give him. Turned out the answer was everything. He played the entire game at safety. And I think
didn't surprise me.
I thought there might be like some packages or something that he was not fully up to speed on, but that was not the case.
It did surprise, but I'll say, speaking of safety, because I was going to say, who's your backup safety going to be there? It surprised me that Reed Blankenship was inactive today.
Yes,
I thought they were going to use him for special.
Yeah, there seemed like there was. I think there was one spot open there where it was either him or Josh. I thought it was going to be Josh Jobe because he was coming off the injury, but it turns out that he was more ready to play special teams than we expected. I would say the 2 real contenders for the Philly this year, Ian Book and Josh Sills. Everybody else I'm expecting is going to be active at some point down the road.
I am listening to you, but I'm also responding to my editor.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure the Phillies have made some minor transaction. Gardner-Johnson, as we said, played the whole game. I thought he was, and he said after the game, imperfect. He has to clean up his tackling, he said. But otherwise, it didn't seem like there were any big coverage busts. I thought TJ Edwards did not have his best game, missed a few tackles. Thought Kaiser White was pretty good when he was on the field. Nakobe Dean did not play a ton. He was in on goal line a few times, and that was it. On the offense, Quez Watkins played more than Zach Pascal, but Zach Pascal did play a lot.
Quez had 0 targets, by the way. Zach Pascal had 1 target.
Yes, and I believe that means that Zach Pascal's 1 catch for 7 yards was the only wide receiver reception other than
Yes.
AJ Brown.
Yeah. So I've been saying on this pod and when I've been speaking elsewhere that I think the Eagles are going to be a team with a real. It's going to be like on the NBA team where the the usage rate for the big three is like exceedingly high.
Yeah, but do you now stand by your expectations for Devontae Smith?
Yes, I do. But I think there's going to be a lot of days when Quez Watkins and Zach Pascal don't get as many targets. I was surprised by how many targets Kenny Gainwell got today. They really wanted to get Gainwell on that little crossing pattern.
Were you surprised at how many targets Noah Tanguy had today?
Yeah, so that was interesting. Jack Stoll.
One target, but a drop.
So Bo's usually the eagle-eyed one here. So I'll flex a bit here. I'm watching this in my binoculars, and Jack Stoll, he's limping. He stays on the field for the next drive because they were in no huddle, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry, for the next play. But then he went to the sideline to be evaluated, was checked for one play. They put Tanguy in. I don't know why they couldn't just go to 11 personnel there, but they had to have Tanguy in there. And then
they pushed the 12 a little hard in this game. Now remember, we said they were the most efficient offense in the league in 12 personnel last year, but with this personnel that they have, I don't think they needed to.
Yeah, Jalen targets Tanguy there. That didn't make any sense.
Well, it was a perfect throw. It should have been a first down. He dropped the ball.
Yes, true.
And
we should say because it's our first time speaking to our listeners. I've spoken to you, our listeners since this happened. Tanguy and Britton Covey were elevated from the practice squad yesterday, and Covey was your punt returner, Watkins your kick returner, and then Tanguy was your third tight end. Grant Calcaterra was inactive.
Yes. And Covey, I thought, did a good job as the punt returner.
Yeah, you had a good observation.
Especially that one when Pascal was backing up into him. He made a smooth catch. And I'm not so sure that I don't think that the Eagles punt returners of years past would have done that. And so credit to him. My expectation was they still have an open roster spot. They're at 52. My expectation was that they would use that spot for a veteran. I'm now not unsure that they won't just sign Covey after today's game because it's not like they're going to surprise anybody that he's the returner now.
And they only have 4 receivers on the roster.
Right. This is what I wanted to talk about. Dan Campbell, this is a 3-point outcome, right? Mm-hmm. And Dan Campbell gave the Eagles 3 points at the end of the half. The Eagles.
I didn't know you were going to talk about that, but I agree.
The Eagles, end of the first half, about a minute left. And Jalen Hurts gets sacked with 50 seconds left, something like that. And the Eagles are not calling timeout. It seems like they are content.
Which was an odd decision in my opinion.
I thought that it did not seem like they were as motivated to score as I thought they should be, as well as they were playing at that point. Campbell calls timeout. And that is a disrespectful timeout. And what happens after that? The next play, Jalen Hurts scrambles away from pressure to set up a short third down. And that's when he hits AJ Brown on the big play downfield. And that they could have scored a touchdown. It could have been a 7-point swing, but that's the difference in the game. 3 points.
It kind of reminded me on a much lesser scale that Los Angeles game last year, the Week 18 game, when they could have just played for the tie. Brendan Staley calls the timeout. And then the next play, Vegas runs the ball for the big game to set up the field goal to win. It was similar to that. The Eagles seemed content going into halftime. Campbell wanted the ball back. I don't quite know why.
Yeah, there wasn't. So
I thought you were going to ask me.
So I have it exactly. 50. Okay. So it's 1st and 10 from the 36 after they have just picked up a first down, and still the Eagles are not looking like that aggressive in terms of how frantic they want to go. And it's 54 seconds left to get sacked. It's only a 4-yard loss, and there's 54 seconds left. They still got to go 2 more plays, and then you're going to get the ball back and score. Yeah. You think, Campbell? Aggressive, and it came back to bite him.
What did you think of the
immediately
of the onside kick?
The onside kick. Good question. I liked that play from the Lions in theory because they weren't stopping the Eagles on offense at that point. They were down 10 at the time. I talked to Zach McPherson about this, and he said all week the message to the kickoff return unit was these guys Phipp likes to get crazy. He likes to catch guys off guard. Be on alert every time. And he said something funny about how so I knew I was supposed to be on alert. And, sometimes you just get that feeling. You get that little feeling in your body, like something's coming. And he was right. And so, I mean, this was I asked Michael Clay about this during the week.
Good
This
question.
is student versus teacher here. Dave Phipp going up against Michael Clay. Week 1, an extra little chess match. What's my former pupil think I'm going to do? What is my former teacher going to do? What can I expect? And Clay had his guys ready for it.
He did, and it was big. And Dan Campbell said, "Yeah, he wanted the ball back, but that gave the Eagles short field, so that was beneficial. They went on that drive here. I'm pulling up the drive chart.
I didn't think that was a terrible thing to do, but the Lions also, if you want to talk about,
so the Eagles scored a touchdown on that drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a minor thing that the Lions outcoached the Eagles on, they got the Eagles to burn a timeout because later on they lined up for a planned onside kick. Eagles scrambled to call timeout because they didn't have their hands team on, got their hands team on the field, and then the Lions just kicked it deep anyway. So good little special teams subterfuge.
Agreed.
Okay. Anything else we gotta touch on?
I'm what?
It's me touching on you, but it's a
yeah.
I didn't actually touch.
No,
it.
I think you covered it well. Did we spend enough time on Hurts? I know that we led the show with it. Well,
I mean, we got a whole season, but I thought we said in the beginning. I think he was the reason they won the game today.
A few other things here. Let me pull up some of the notes as you go.
If you're live in the chat, let us know if there's something.
Yeah, so we talked about AJ Brown and James Bradberry. We can talk elsewhere. I mean, I'm curious what people in the chat thought about that Washington-Jacksonville game. I heard it was like a big Carson Wentz experience in that Wentz had some great plays, had some awful plays. I heard Doug was real aggressive there. We didn't really talk much about Miles Sanders. I know you said he looked explosive. I thought he looked really good. And it's certainly not something to belittle the fact that 4 different players scored touchdowns there.
I was actually a little bit surprised at how much Gainwell and Boston Scott played.
Me too.
I thought a healthy Miles Sanders was going to be on the field 80% of the time, and it was a much more. He was still on the field the most, but it was probably closer to like 60, 30, 10.
I thought the play of the game, or at least one of them, was that 24-yarder on the 24-yard run by Sanders before the 2-minute warning, 3rd down.
It was huge.
I thought he got stuffed at the line, so it almost looked like a second.
We did talk
play.
about that play, but
yes, no, but I'm going through.
Yeah.
You said as we
huge
go through
play.
my head here.
If he gets stuffed there, which it looked like he would have, the Lions could have won the game.
Yes. So no, I think that's it. I think Eagles rushed for 216 yards.
Do you think it was interesting that Boston Scott was the salted away guy at the very end? Those last 3 carries?
No, after last year, no.
Okay.
Remember Miles? He used to run out of bounds.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Yes. Miles Sanders scored his first touchdown since 2020.
Yes.
Yep, December 20.
Derek Barnett got hurt.
He did. And then I was watching him. He stayed on the sideline. He sat on the bench. So he was not in the locker room. So that could be a good sign.
You must have only seen that because you were really trying to look for Josh Sweat.
No, Josh Sweat was on the field, so that was not the case. Yes.
He did not return to the game, although in the locker room, he was walking fine. And I asked if he was okay, and he said, "I'm blessed."
It's good.
God bless football, baby.
God bless football.
All right. What's coming up this week, Zach?
So we have the primetime game. The Eagles play the Vikings on Monday night. So this is a longer week. That means they're going to have an extra day off this week. Okay. And but it's going to be a big job. So we talked to Nick Sirianni tomorrow afternoon. Then we'll get Gannon and Steichen maybe on Wednesday this week, typically Tuesday. I need to figure out that schedule. Eagles will be back at practice on Thursday. They'll go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then the Minnesota Vikings, who had a big win against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers today. Justin Jefferson had a huge day. That's going to be a big season opener, or I shouldn't say season opener, home opener for the Eagles. So excited for that one, and then comes a short week thereafter. So we will have all your coverage. Both of us have stories we're working on, and make sure, in addition to the column I have up and Bo's Day After, which is always a must read, make sure on Tuesday you check out the power rankings that Bo is producing, because there were some great lines in it last week, and it's a chance for Bo to flex his personality. Can't wait to see it.
You don't have to tease the power rankings at the end of the post game pod, but thank you.
Well, we're not going to talk to our audience before then. So
yeah, but
I want to make sure they see it.
Okay.
Marissa, everything good with you? I'm sorry I haven't had the chance to speak with you here.
She says, "No, I don't like you. Please stop talking to me."
Oh, sorry. How's Charlotte?
I did not say that, Zach. You know I did not say that. Everything's great. I love seeing you guys in the 2-box together. It's great. Like
the 2-box.
Okay.
Yeah. These post-game pods are so fun. So
These
and
post-game
huge,
pods are
huge
so
audience
fun.
again. Yeah.
Hope you can't sleep tonight because of Swooper.
Marissa, I received multiple texts this weekend complimenting your swooper ability, as if like
Yeah, but
you
it
are
didn't
this,
get me
like,
that far.
winger that was brought in to play to play swooper.
It didn't get me that far
But it
though with
didn't
these
get her to
new
win.
rules, which I will say Deniz was not pleased about the new.
Yeah, the
time
rules are
range.
not popular, but guess what? This is an
Just
entertainment program.
Just throwing that out there.
I didn't hear what she said.
She's saying that Denny's doesn't like their new rules.
But it's okay. I'll bring
He's
it
also
next
a very
week.
popular
I'm
guest
ready.
too. We need to get him back. You have an open invitation. I know Bo's in charge here, but if I can extend an invitation, you have an open invitation, Denise.
Well, Denny's is not on the
Yes.
show, so
I'm sure she's watching it. Yes.
I don't know. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Birds with Friends. The Eagles, not always pretty, not always easy, but they start the season 1-0. A win is a win, and they get a little extra time to prepare for the Minnesota Vikings next Monday night. Kirk Cousins, the quarterback who Brandon Graham has sacked more than anybody else. Maybe that'll come up in a story this week.
Super.
And that's it. So for Zach and Marissa and Tommy and Elijah, I'm Bo. We thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on Tuesday or Wednesday. I guess we'll figure that out based on the schedule. But until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Remember to rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, God bless football, and we love you.